7 Scary Facts About North Korea. Number 7. The Village of Kijong-dong. Built in 1953, from a distance, the village of Kijong-dong looks like any other town with houses, schools, and even a hospital. But all is not as it appears. Kijong-dong sits in the heavily guarded, demilitarized zone that separates North and South Korea, and is widely referred to as Propaganda Village. It is believed to be a decoy for luring in South Korean defectors. The North Koreans claim the town has 200 residents and is a reflection of the country's economic success. However, observations have suggested that Kijong-dong is devoid of any human life. The buildings appear to be concrete shells with no glass in their windows. Electric lights operate on an automatic timer, and the only people in sight are maintenance workers who sweep the streets to give the impression of activity. Number 6. The prison camps of North Korea. The prison camps of North Korea have been on human rights watch lists for decades, and while it seems the country is bowing to pressure from international condemnation and closing some gulags, others appear to be expanding. Prison Camp 22, otherwise known as Hoeryong concentration camp, held 50,000 prisoners in the 1990s and has been closed for more than 3 years. The facility was a lifelong maximum security detention center for political prisoners and their families. At its peak, the camp was under the control of over 1,000 guards. Conditions were harsh, to say the least. Prisoners and their families were often on the brink of starvation and dressed in rags. Many had deformities, but despite this, were expected to work, and anyone who disobeyed authority was tortured or killed. The camp was closed in 2012 due to the rumored defection of the camp's warden, but the prisoners were never released. They were just shipped off to other camps to, no doubt, meet the same fate. Number 5. North Korea's nuclear testing could trigger a volcano. As if North Korea's rhetoric towards the West wasn't reason enough to be frightened. Scientists have warned that nuclear tests being carried out in the country could cause a catastrophic volcanic eruption near its test site. Experts from Yonsei University believe that the force of a nuclear bomb being detonated underground could affect the magma of the Mount Paektu volcano, which is situated a mere 70 miles away from Seoul. The consequences could be devastating. A previous eruption of the volcano in 1903 was one of the largest explosive events in human history. Number 4. North Korea's hydrogen bomb test threatens US power grid. Eventually, North Korea could successfully launch a warhead at South Korea, or at the US itself. While the country may not be successful in hitting its intended target, the country's recent actions could threaten the US's antiquated power grid, which is vulnerable to threats. The detonation of a nuclear device at high altitude can produce an electromagnetic wave that can either damage or destroy electronic systems. This electromagnetic pulse, otherwise known as an EMP, has not been much of an issue since the end of the Cold War. But with North Korea's suspected test of a hydrogen bomb in late January of 2016, their power grid is once again a prime target. Number 3. North Korea's use of WMDs. A US general has reported that Jong Un will not hesitate to use weapons of mass destruction if he felt the fate of his power was at stake. General Curtis Scaparotti, the commander of the US forces in Korea, told the Senate Armed Services Committee that tensions on the Korean peninsula were at their highest in over 2 decades, and that if Kim thought his regime were challenged, he would use WMDs. North Korean state media broadcast the announcement that the country had successfully tested a small hydrogen bomb in 2016. But had they? The announcement came about an hour after detection devices around the world had picked up a 5.1 seismic event along the country's northeast coast. If it's true, that action would dramatically escalate the nuclear challenge from one of the world's most isolated and dangerous states. Number 2. North Korea is planning terror attacks. Is North Korea plotting terror attacks against the South? Officials believe so. An anonymous Saenuri party official who spoke to the National Intelligence Service of South Korea said that North Korea was planning terrorist attacks against the South, and potential targets could include defectors, government officials, and public places such as malls and subway stations. cyber attacks were also a possibility. The lawmaker said Kim Jong Un gave orders to prepare for the attacks himself. In the light of this news, the ruling South Korean party is trying to push a 5-year-old anti-terrorism bill through the National Assembly, despite concerns over privacy and potential abuse of surveillance authority. Number 1. Kim Jong Un. The scariest thing of all about North Korea may be its young leader, Kim Jong Un. The dictator, now in his early 30s, is known not only for his unpredictability, but his harsh rule over his oppressed people. He is not above putting members of his own family to death if they have fallen out of favor, like he did to his 67-year-old uncle, Jan Song-thaek, in 2012. Kim, who was schooled in the West, is not insane. His priority is simply to stay in power. And how does he do that? With an endless stream of perceived, capable, and dangerous enemies both in and out of the country. Since Kim has been in power, the number of mass public executions has soared, and nuclear threats to the West have increased. Daniel Snyder, Associate Director of the Shorenstein Asia-Pacific Research Center, says North Korea provocations are very calculated. They tend to stop short of what would force serious escalation. While the talk tends to be tougher than the action, it's worth being scared. Thank you for watching Interesting Top 7. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button below and subscribe for new videos every week.